Hi. So today I'm going to talk about question that someone asked me, which is how lucrative it is to work in risk management. Right, risk management is just a department in most financial organizations, in all kinds of financial organizations, pension funds, trading firms, crypto trading firms, banks, fintechs, and even in central banks, public sector bank, retail bank, commercial bank, all kinds of financial institutions. You will always see a risk management department. That's mandated by the regulators. So you cannot run a financial service organization without having a risk management department. And I've heard that even more private firms which are not directly regulated by regulators, even they are having their own risk management departments, including the VC firms, venture capital firms, right? Um, Now, what is it about? Well, I think I've made some videos, few videos about risk management. So I'm not going to go into the details of what is risk management, what people do there, and all of that. But in nutshell, I like to tell you that people working in risk management, they actually write policies and procedures. They also sometimes work on building models, statistical models to manage risk, financial, different types of risk, right? There may be various types of risk involved in any financial transaction you do, whether you do trading or lending, or hedging, or any of this, thing you do. There is a risk involved: currency risk, credit risk, sovereign risk, market risk, and so on. So depending on what the product is about, you will have some risk associated with. How do you manage it? How do you mitigate it? How do you have checks and balances, right? These are people who do that. This is a role which is not purely non-quantitative. It requires you to have good understanding of models used there. In some places you don't use, they don't use any models, so you don't have to be a quant guy. But in most big banks, insurance companies, fintechs even, without models you simply cannot work in. Without knowledge of models you cannot work in risk management. You really need to have understanding of models. Who are the ones who work there? MBA finance people work there. Many economist, statistic guy also work there. Many people with chartered accountant background, they work there. Or people who work as quants, they even move to risk management areas and work later on as risk managers. Quite a lucrative career actually. So let's come back to how lucrative it is, right? So the compensation is actually decent, I would say, if not as great as the quant finance guys. But the risk management people still make good money, especially at senior level. And the guy who actually work at senior level, they work very close to the front office people, the big people, the people who manage money directly. Hence they have a lot of influence, but many of them actually come from quant area. But there are people also who start their career in risk management without being in the modeling area, but like training risk manager and so on and so forth. They are the one who don't make that great money, but once they grow in the career, they do make good money, right? And that's also one career many quants go into later in their life, right? Once they have worked 10-15 years, they don't want to do any technical work anymore. They will move to risk management area. And you have risk management area in every single financial service company you go into. There is something called chief risk officer. Every single organization, financial service organization, has to have a chief risk officer, whether it's an NBFC, whether it's a bank or insurance company, fintech. You have a chief risk officer, which is in most scenario part of the board, right? Managing board. So and people who have got experience in modeling areas, in quant areas, they are actually preferred in risk management. A lot of them work actually in risk management. But there are also specialized risk management people, like who don't work in quant finance, but directly they start working in risk side. That was not the case actually long back, but I think it has changed a lot. Now people hire specialized risk people also, who start like from beginning itself, they start in working there rather than moving from other departments like modeling area or business, right? So this is certification, all of that. Some people ask me whether, well, there are many risk certification. FRM is one popular one. PRM is very popular as well. Many people who have CFA qualification, they also work in risk area, right? Another question somebody asked me: does it help to have knowledge of models if you want to work in risk management area? Absolutely. If you are a credit analyst, if you are doing some reconciliation work related to risk management in market area, it's always good to have knowledge of quant finance models in order to grow in your career. I think that will always help you a lot. In terms of compensation, I would say it's quite reasonably rewarding, I would say. I mean, at senior level, it's quite good. Maybe at a junior level, it's not that rewarding, less rewarding. Consulting firms don't pay that well, again, at junior level. But again, if once you become senior manager, director, or even at manager level in consulting firms, we make good money. Risk managers in market area tend to make more compared to other areas. That's what I have experienced. Risk managers working in trading firms, wealth management firms, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and those places, they make significantly more compared to that the ones who work in banks, right? Whether certification matters or not, no, but I think in many places, if you have a FRM, it does help. You will stand out. Do you need a qualification in finance to work? No, not needed. You don't need. Can you directly work in risk management directly right from university? Yes, possible. But I mean, if coming from technical area, engineering, science, and those places, you haven't studied finance ever, I think it's easier to work in quant finance, quant modeling than in risk management, right? There is an overlap also. There is something called risk modeling also, which is part of risk management in many companies. So there is an overlap between risk management area and quant modeling area. But let me tell you, I'm here in this video, I'm talking about the non-quant side of risk management, which is more about having checks and balances. Not necessarily the most interesting work, but especially for beginners, but it's quite important for organizations. And you have a say in most decisions made within the organization, and I think you become influential and make an impact. All right, that's what I wanted to share. If you have further questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section, guys.